Today we're doing another recipe from Anne Cook's Professed Cookery, that's from 1755. It's a very interesting and very simple cheese soup. Thanks for joining us today on 18th Century Cooking. So before we get to this cheese soup, let's talk a little bit about cheeses, and specifically 18th century cheeses. This recipe calls for a Cheshire cheese, and the Cheshire cheese was very famous in 18th century England, in fact, probably all around. There's even one reference to somebody who said that the Italians preferred Cheshire cheese over Parmesan cheese. I'm not sure about that one. The cheese I'm using today is actually a cheese that was given to me by Pat Mead at Genesee Country Village. And they do a lot of cheese type programs there. If you're close to Genesee Country Village, which is around the Rochester, New York area, I would really suggest going to visit that location. This is what they call a simple farmer's cheese. Maybe an aged cheddar is another similarity here, but this is a very hard cheese. It's very salty, but apparently very similar to 18th century cheeses and probably as close as I'm going to get to an 18th century Cheshire cheese. So today in your modern supermarket, you'll want to find something like an aged cheddar, or if you can't find something that's kind of hard enough, a Parmesan cheese will do equally well. So let's get started. Let's start with 3 pints of boiling water. And to this we'll add 2 cups of breadcrumbs. In the recipe she calls for the crumb of a penny loaf. So basically what we have here is a panada, or a bread soup base. Very common in the 18th century. Many times served to invalids, but sometimes regular folks too. The recipe calls for grated cheese. This particular cheese is so hard that really I just need to cut it up and it crumbles down very nicely. But you'll want your cheese to be pretty fine. Cheshire cheese in the 18th century was known for its saltiness. You won't find any salt mentioned in this recipe. Because of that, you may find with your particular cheese that you'll need to add a little. The recipe calls for 1/2 pound of cheese. We're going to stir this into our panada and we'll keep stirring until it's nice and smooth. It smells wonderful, and it was so incredibly simple to make. In fact, I thought this was interesting in that in this particular recipe book that was full of sort of expensive dishes, this is probably one of the least expensive and simplest of a food for the poor, really. So let's find out how it tastes. Wow, it is a wonderful, thick, cheesy soup. It almost tastes like there's a little bit of maybe a mustard in there, but there isn't. It's just this cheese. It is so wonderful and smells so good. I would probably put a little bit of pepper on it just because I'm that kind of a person. It would probably be really good with sippets, little pieces of toast that you would put in this particular soup. Very common for soups in the 18th century. It is so wonderful. It's so rich. This is really, really good. So there you have it, a thick and creamy cheese soup. I hope you get a chance to try this one out. It is very, very good. Thanks for watching. If you're new to our channel, I want to welcome you. You can subscribe by clicking the button right up here. Also check out our related videos. Thanks so much for watching.